Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ōkami walkthrough. So we've beaten the Atabume and now it's time to explore the rest of the Ishima coast. Now through here is our path to Seian City. There's a clover here that we can't get access to just yet. As you can see, something's really not right with Seian City at the minute. There's this hideous green haze covering it. I think that's something that we're going to have to try and deal with when we actually get there, which, now that I think about it, is actually going to be in the next part. Oh yeah! But even though technically we probably should be going to rescue all these people, no, we've got to feed the cows, and we've got to find a rabbit, and we've got to go to the dojo to get some new skills, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you're going to be quite busy in Ryushima Coast, and look, more Abume! And it's probably around this point that I was beginning to get slightly frustrated with the glaive. Because although it's powerful, it's just slow. And also I was frustrated because I was just like, why am I not getting the damn floral finisher? I could have sworn it was Galestorm. It's not. It's a brush technique that we are going to get in the next in about 2 dungeons time. The reason I say it's not the next one is because it's not the next one. The next one's, I mean, technically it's more of a mini dungeon than an actual dungeon, so in all seriousness I am talking about the next proper dungeon. But there is a mini dungeon before that, so it depends how you want to go about it. Now this black and white rabbit here, and you can pick up all the rabbits and all the small creatures if you want to. You can also bite them. I mean, don't do that because otherwise you're going to lose the rabbit, but you need to take Inaba to his owner. Because obviously he's missing the rabbit, and that was not a smart move on my point. On my part. But either way, it's a very easy way to get some praise, so why the hell not do it? And also he gives us a stray bead, so it's definitely worth your while doing this. I think because they named the rabbit Inaba and all of that, they thought, well, let's make this a particularly special little side quest. And give you a stray bead for it. Now, this is kind of an odd time to bring this up, I suppose. But we've kind of met most of the important characters by this point. Or at least ones that will give her a nickname. So I kind of want to go through all the different names that Army gets, because they're wonderful. They are different between the Japanese version and the Western release, because, well, the translations are different, because the translations in the art book are direct translations, whereas the nicknames in the actual game are localizations. Now, in the art book, the nicknames for Army include God of Heaven's Light, Ōkami Amaterasu, Madam Ōkami, Lady Armor, Great Teacher Amaterasu, Swift Lady Armor, Hygienically Challenged Lady Armor, Stubborn Lady Armor, Furball, Furry Rice Cake, General, You, Little Legend, Useless One, Impoverished Furball, Impoverished Miss Ōkami, Stray Ōkami from Tagamagahala, Bumpkin Ōkami, Madam Ōkami Amaterasu, Madam God, Madam Wolf, Madam God, Miss Lady Armor, Amaterasu, Honourable Amaterasu, Mistress Amaterasu, Miss Amaterasu, Dog, Pup, Pooch, Damned Dog, Doggy, Ghost Dog, Spot, Spot, Woofy, Hound, Pooch, Woofy, Woof Woof, Pooch, Pup, Young Wolf, Miss Wolf, Brother Wolf, White Wolf, Ignorant Wolf, Whitey, Brother Whitey, Little Whitey, Whitester, Little White Woofy, White One, White Beast, White Wolf, Little White Dumpling, White Blanket, New White King of Holds Digging, White Rice Cake Apparition, Four-Legged White Devil, Cotton Hat, White Apparition, White Untamed Force, Legendary Wolf, Master, Boss, Young Lady, Patron, You, Poisonous Rice Cake, Lumpy Brigade, Beautiful Female. So, yes, Issun also gets nicknamed quite a bit, so you get Little Issun, Mist Issun, Honourable Issun, Priest Issun, Chrysoshra Elegans, Mr. Chrysoshra Elegans, Golden Chrysoshra Elegans, Little Ball, Tiny Little Ball, Weird Ball of Fire, a suspicious looking mobile piece of candy, Pea Apparition, Mr. Fairy and Paranormal Bugger. So that's all of the Japanese versions of the nicknames. I'm trying to find a list of all of the really fun nicknames as they appear in the Western release, but I am struggling a little bit. We might have something here. Or not. That's always fun, isn't it? So, some of them, so you've got Army, you've got Furball, you've got Snowy, you've got Chalky, you've got White Connoisseur, you've got, I think, Lupine Pupil, White Demon of Death, Just Amaterasu, Mutt, Holding King, Snowball King, Full Throttle Army, Doggy, Great Mother Amaterasu, Ama, Shinshu's #1 runner, which we may or may not be getting at some point in the future, and Nature Buddy. Now, I have to say, I am really slightly confused as to why there isn't a full list on the internet. But, oh well. So, in the new dojo, we have Holy Eagle, which you are going to want to get. This is the integral skill to progress in the game. Essentially, it allows you to double jump, which is so useful. You aren't necessarily ever going to properly need it in battle, but it allows you to progress to places further. So, if you remember that wooden structure in Kamiki Village that I struggled to get up at the start of the game, having Holy Eagle really will allow you to get up there a lot easier. You don't have to worry about trying to get the wall jump off. So that's nice. We're also going to get Digging Champ, which allows us to dig where we couldn't dig before, which means that we can get all of those things that are in the hard ground. So that's incredibly useful. And then there's loads of other stuff. So I mean, pretty much, come here before you progress any further, because these are skills that you need and you want, really. That said, you can give or take whether you want any of the actual attack skills. But they could be useful, so... And also, I mean, mostly what the attack techniques and stuff do is they increase your combo count, which is a very, very, very useful thing, because it means that you can stop enemies from attacking in some instances. So you're really going to want to do that. But yes, despite the fact that this video is going to take another 10-ish minutes, we are pretty much done with our exploration of Ryushima Coast for now. It's just a case of me figuring out what I wanted, because I've only got 76,127 yen. As you can see, there's a very, very, very expensive technique there, but for now I think I just want to get Reflector Technique 5 Winds and Rosary Technique Spirit Armageddon. Because I'm not a glaive user, I don't know whether I might get the 3 shares. You can see my brain ticking, because it's just like, I really don't know what's best for me to get. And it is entirely because, I mean, if you don't use weapons that often, then what's the point in getting anything to upgrade them? But you are most definitely going to want to get these increased, like, rosary skills, because, I mean, adding any sort of combo thing to your rosary just makes it even more useful. Because even though it's technically weak, I mean, look at the amount of hits that you can get in. And you can get in even more than that, really. So it's such a useful thing to have. Obviously, because you get, like, Holy Bones for completing this X amount of times, that's what I'm doing right here, because I mean, I have to say, it's a bit ridiculous that the game wants you to do the training, like, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 times? I think it's technically meant to be 10. Maybe. I don't know whether I just get bored and leave. But the fact that it expects you to do that, it doesn't tell you that that's your reward, unless you already know that that's the case. So it just ends up being a bit like, done it once, get the gist, there's kind of no need to do it anymore. So most of the time you're probably just going to do it once and run out the door, because in the end I wouldn't say that it's exactly worth it to try and fight for your extra Holy Bone M when you can just buy them from the shop. But before we progress any further, I am going to get one more thing. I think it's going to be the 5 Winds. Probably. Yeah, I mean, it's the cheapest thing here. But obviously there is the, you can see right at the bottom of the list, there's the Golden Fury, which is very expensive. and Brown Rage, which is even more expensive, and oh my good god, is it expensive. And it's also basically useless, so yeah, it's a bit of a waste. It's hilarious, but it's a bit of a waste. That said, I will be showing it off right at the end of the game. I mean, why the hell wouldn't I? I'm trying to show this game off 100%, so I've kind of got to show that off at some point. But if you're just playing the game normally, it's really not worth your while, because in the end, it's like 2 million yen or something along those lines for something that only allows you to just get Demon Fangs. I mean, you may think that that is actually quite helpful, but the Golden Fury attack also does that. It gives you less Demon Fangs for doing it, but there's that, which is cheaper, or you can just, you know, floral finish your enemies. And if you do as I am doing throughout this game, well, throughout this recording, if you get into a fight with every enemy you come across, or most of them, and you successfully get your floral finishes off, then by the time you get to the end of the game, for starters, you will have probably easily gotten enough Demon Fangs to get every single item that you need to get, so all of the holy artifacts, but you will potentially have also gotten enough Demon Fangs to get the S rank for collecting Demon Fangs. So, in the end, needing to get those 2 techniques purely for getting Demon Fangs potentially slightly easier, it's not quite that worth it in the end. And also because they can only be used in combat, it can be a little bit of a challenge. But now that we have all of our new skills, it's time to pick up some dig spots, because I am a blind sod. And then after we get the one which is on like the viewpoint for Seian City, we'll actually head into the city and find out what the hell's going on there. And I do have a fun little fact-ish story about Seian City. So in the art book there is an overview of the city. You can't quite see it at the moment within the game, because obviously there's that hideous green haze. But in this picture, and later on in the game, the artist wanted to show off the immense scale of Seian City in the picture. And they remember bugging the scenery lead until he relented. And the shape of Seian City is a square front and then a circular back for the 2 halves, which is really quite a cool thing. But yeah, I'm just attempting to try and get some money back there. Yeah, we spent a lot at the dojo. And then we just need to, well, we're all stocked up on feed bags now. So I think that after getting the last clover in that we can at the minute in Ryoshima Coast, don't know whether that is the last clover ever in Ryoshima Coast, but it's the last one that I care about right now. We will head into Seian City. It was the area that Issun wanted us to go to, and now we're finally here. But as I'm sure you can probably tell, nothing is going to be quite as it seems. So, I hope we're going to be able to do something about this hideous mist, because it's kind of ruining the whole aesthetic the place has got going on. And that's kind of disappointing, but... oh well.